During all the rain in the southeast, there were fears a 4-year-old boy may have been swept away after becoming stuck in a drain at Morayfield. Neighbours called firefighters to Ridge Garden Drive around 10:30 a.m. Drasic had crawled further into a drain pipe than 5 of his friends.
He would have been washed away, yeah, because there was more rain on its way. So, yeah, luckily they all came to the rescue just in time. Hey, bud.
She's the model whose story of being kidnapped to be sold as a sex slave horrified the world. Now, new video has surfaced in which Chloe Ayling takes cops back to the remote farmhouse where she was allegedly shackled and held captive.
The handcuffs were around here, and the same handcuffs around here, and my feet were there.
I had to go in it and say like where everything happened, like where I was handcuffed, where I slept.
It's 2:30. I'm in my AP Environmental Science class, and we hear the first gunshot echo through the hallways. Our first response was, that sounded a lot like a gunshot, and we close the door. And we tell our teacher she closes the door, and right after she does that, the fire alarm gets pulled.
If I never argue with them, still I will be their slave. My job was to take care of them, take care of the house, take care of all their needs. They never allowed me to go outside. When they go outside, I have to be with them.
Now, with the deadly flu epidemic tonight, new questions about just how accurate the popular quick test is in diagnosing the virus. Here's ABC's Ariel Reshef.
15-year-old Kira Molina, another young face of this year's deadly flu epidemic. And tonight, her death raising questions about the most common test for the virus. Kira's rapid flu test came back negative. Days later, she died from flu complications.
A Melbourne school is in damage control tonight after shocking footage emerged of violent attacks by students. A special school assembly has been called as those involved face disciplinary action.
Wild scenes as a week at St Peter's Catholic College is punctuated by violence.
Chloe's ordeal first erupted into the headlines last year. The 20-year-old told me in an exclusive interview that she was lured to a fake photo shoot in Italy and abducted. Now, one of her accused kidnappers is on trial. The highlight of the trial was this video in which Chloe takes cops to the studio in Milan, where she says her ordeal began.
It had studio written on the door.
Chloe walks cops through the now empty facility.
In all honesty, it was more shock than anything. We thought this was a drill initially because we had been having rumors that there was going to be a code red drill for a while, and we thought this was a drill at first, but then we started seeing the headlines. People started freaking out a little bit. It turns out that we were actually running towards the school shooter.
And when they go outside, they have to lock me inside the house. I don't have any privacy. I sleep in the living room. No bathroom to take my shower. My things are all placed in the toilet.
And there's 12-year-old Michael Messenger, who passed away just days after his negative flu test.
The guilt, because I'm a mom, I'm supposed to protect my kids, and I couldn't protect him.
The CDC says some rapid flu tests are only 50 to 70% accurate, and false negatives occur more frequently than false positives.
Two schoolgirls faced off. Egged on by others, one launches at her opponent, grabbing her hair and flinging her to the ground. As onlookers scream, the pair scuffle. Students recorded more sickening scenes inside and out at the Cranbourne school. Fists flew between young students as older pupils watched and clapped.
I think it's appalling that those things are happening in schools.
Every day, 24 hours on call, no day off, no freedom. They only verbally abuse me, calling me names as stupid, animal, garbage. I respect the family where I'm working, but they never show me respect.
So I went to reach out for the handle of this door, and that's when I was approached from behind.
A hand comes from behind onto my neck, and then another hand with a glove onto my mouth and nose, stopping me from breathing and screaming. And then another guy rushes round in front of me. Eventually they tackle me to the floor and the syringe goes in, and that's when it all goes black.
And thank God for a janitor stopping us right before we got anywhere near close to the freshman building. He stopped us and he got us into Chef Kurth with Chef Kurth's help into her classroom. I would say about 30 to 40 students into this teacher's classroom at the same time. And as a result of their heroic actions, they saved probably all of our lives, about 40 of us.
Tests will say they don't have the flu, but they do.
That's why Baylor University Medical Center in Dallas, one of the country's leading hospitals, says their doctors aren't relying solely on the tests and are also keeping a close eye on patient symptoms.
The saying is if it quacks like a duck and it sounds like a duck, it's a duck.
This year's flu season striking hard. So far, 84 children have died from the dangerous outbreak, 22 in just the last week.
Even by the food, how sometimes they eat scrap foods from the plate and not from the serving plate.
The violence has led to former top cop Kel Blair calling for an urgent reintroduction of the Police in Schools program.
I think it's an incredible problem, but again, a Police in Schools program, one of the first things it can deal with is bullying.
In a statement, the school says it has acted promptly in accordance with protocol to implement appropriate discipline and support measures, including suspensions, behaviour management plans and meetings with parents.
Cops say Chloe had been injected with a horse tranquilizer, a virtual zombie because of the drugs. She was allegedly stuffed in a large black duffel bag, thrown in the trunk of a car, and driven for 2 hours to the farmhouse near Turin in northern Italy. Chloe says in the police video that one of her abductors later let her sleep in his bed.
So I slept on this side.
So right now we're in a school, an active shooter. It's not a drill, and it's currently...
Hello?
It's 2:52.
Where are you right now?
I heard one gunshot, and we thought it was a drill initially, but it's not.
I feel as if I'm flying up on air. Like before, my feeling is just I was carrying a heavy load on me. Now that I'm free, I feel very, very happy.
When you asked him, why did you kidnap me? What did he say?
He says, you've already been put up for sale.
They put you up for sale?
Yeah.
Where?
On the dark web.
They put you up for sale on the dark web?
Yeah.
These were the photos allegedly used to sell Chloe. The starting price for the beautiful model, $300,000.
And were people making offers to buy you?
Yeah, he said there's already a huge interest in you.
Doctors say if your child gets a rapid flu test and it comes back negative, parents should still closely monitor their kids. And Tom, if those kids continue to show signs of the flu, be sure to be persistent, get back in touch with your physician.
It'll get worse. It is escalating, there's no question about that. There are, in some places, ethnic tensions in the schools.
The school says it's treating the incidents with the utmost seriousness and will hold a special assembly on Monday morning to discuss the violence with students in years 7 to 10. Locals claim other schools in the area are experiencing similar schoolyard violence. Jackie Quist, 7 News.
But the accused kidnapper claims Chloe was in on the plot and helped stage it all for publicity.
A w dodatku kupiłem rzeczy, które miały sprawić, że to rzeczywiście będzie wyglądało na porwanie.
Chloe vigorously denies that the kidnapping was a hoax. She says she was able to talk her way to freedom after telling her two abductors that she had a 2-year-old son.
recovering from emotional and mental abuse is very difficult. Still, how many times I forget, but it always pops up in my mind.
This is not acceptable. This is something that is completely unacceptable and that we need to take action on. We can say all these great things like condolences and saying we're so sorry for your loss is obviously important. But what we need at this point is not to say that anymore, because there shouldn't be any more children that die. We need to take action.
I feel like I'm in a dream. Like, I don't believe this is real. There's no way to describe what happened.
What do you want to say to the people who were asking, was this a publicity stunt?
How can it be a publicity stunt? It's just ridiculous. Like, my story's proven to be correct.
Although how much I miss my family, although how much I miss my daughter, going back is not my priority now, because as a breadwinner of the family, I have to work. My advice to anybody who's working in a housemaid, being abused, just continue to be brave,